acidity, indigestion, heartburn. If you suffer from all these problems, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you the actual cause of all these problems so that instead of just working on the temporary solution, you actually focus on the permanent solution of eradicating of all these health issues, of all these gut issues from your system. Our digestive system is very complex. However, I'm going to make it very simple for you. So I'm just going to talk about the stomach, which is one of the organ involved in the digestive system, the other being the mouth, the small intestine and the large intestine. So our stomach somewhat looks like this. There, at the end of the food pipe, there is a sphincter, which is called the lower esophageal sphincter. And at the end of the stomach, there is one more sphincter, which prevents the bile, which is produced by the liver, from entering inside the stomach. Now, this sphincter uh, opens up when the food comes in and it closes so that the HCl doesn't go out of the stomach. The opening and the closing of the sphincter is very efficiently managed by the automatic nervous system in our brain. Now, guys, you need to understand one thing. Our body is one system. It doesn't work in isolation. If one thing is affected, the entire system is affected. Now, this mechanism of opening and closing, since it's managed by the brain, if something happens in the brain, our gut also gets affected. When you are always in a stressful environment, you are perpetually in the sympathetic nervous system, that is the flight or the fight mode. That creates the impact on the closing of this gland. So now what happens when you eat food? The food enters inside this stomach, and since it doesn't closes on the time, so what happens? This HCl gushes out, and this is when you feel the heartburn, and this is what is called acid reflux. Now, the other thing which is dependent on is the two important mineral, which is called magnesium and calcium. This also has an impact on the closing of this gland, of this sphincter. Now, this absorption of these two important minerals depends on the vitamin D, and the absorption of vitamin D is again dependent on the stress level. So, people who are always on stress, although you are taking supplements for vitamin D, you will always struggle with the absorption of vitamin D. So this was all about the sphincter. Now let me talk about the hydrochloric acid, the actual hero of all the entire drama. Hydrochloric acid is something which very important for a body, because of which the acidic value, the pH value of the stomach is very low and is always in this acidic environment. So it has a very important role to play. So it helps with the absorption of important nutrients. It helps with the absorption of the intrinsic factor, the vitamin B12. It helps with the to prevent the overgrowth of pathogens and bacteria like Sebum and H. pylori. It also helps with the breakdown of protein with the help of pepsin into amino acid. So if the undigested protein is there, the immune system sees it as a threat and it flares up and causing you several problems and allergies. So if there's an imbalance and if their stomach acid is too low or too high, the problem then comes in. So what's the problem and why the problem happens? When there's an electrolyte imbalance, that is the imbalance in the sodium and the potassium, which helps to bind the HCl. The second is the antacids. The overuse of antacids causes the coming out of bad bacteria, good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. Overuse of antibiotics, dependency on the medicines like BP, kidney, OCPs. So these are the things which also creates imbalance in the production of HCl. So guys, these are the actual cause of the acid reflux. So what you need to work is, you need to work on your stress management so there's better absorption of minerals like calcium and magnesium. You also need to reduce your dependency on these medicines. You need to reduce the dependency on antibiotics and antacids, and you need to focus on your lifestyle. So in this video, I've spoken about the cause of the acid reflux. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the permanent solution to all these problems. So stay tuned.